Good evening, everyone. I'm going to present on occupational health hazards, an important topic in industrial safety and occupational health. Every workplace contains certain hazards that may affect the health and well-being of workers. These hazards may not always cause immediate injury, but continuous exposure can lead to serious diseases and permanent disabilities. Understanding occupational health hazards helps industries create safer workplaces, improve employee productivity, reduce accidents, and comply with legal safety regulations. The presentation is organized into 7 major sections. We begin with an introduction to occupational health hazards and understand what occupational diseases are. Next, we classify occupational hazards into 5 major categories, that is physical, chemical, biological, mechanical, and psychosocial hazards. After that, we will discuss each category in detail with examples and their health effects. Finally, we will learn about preventive measures using the hierarchy of controls, which is the internationally accepted approach for minimizing the workplace hazards. By the end of the session, you should be able to identify occupational hazards, understand their effects, and recommend suitable preventive measures. What are occupational health hazards? Occupational health hazards refer to diseases or health problems that develop because of exposure to harmful conditions at the workplace. Unlike ordinary illness, occupational diseases occur mainly among workers performing specific jobs. For example, miners are exposed to coal dust. Welders are exposed to ultraviolet radiation. Healthcare workers are exposed to infectious diseases, and chemical plant workers may inhale toxic gases. These diseases are legally recognized because they are directly linked to workplace exposure. Therefore, industries are required to report such diseases, and affected workers are entitled to compensation under occupational safety laws. This makes occupational health an important responsibility of both employers and employees. Occupational hazards are generally divided into 5 categories. The first category is physical hazards, which includes heat, cold, noise, vibration, lightning, and radiation. The second category is chemical hazards, involving exposure to gases, dust, vapors, and toxic chemicals. Third are biological hazards, which are caused by bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Fourth are the mechanical hazards resulting from moving machinery and unsafe equipment. Finally, psychosocial hazard, which includes stress, work pressure, poor relationships, and job dissatisfaction. Although these hazards are classified separately, workers may often be exposed to more than one hazard at the same time. Next, let us talk about the 6 physical agents at work. Physical hazards are environmental factors that can harm workers without direct contact with chemicals. These include excessive heat, extreme cold, poor lighting, excessive noise, vibration, ultraviolet radiation, and ionizing radiation. Heat is common in steel plants, foundries, and glass industries. Cold environments occur in cold storage facilities and food processing industries. Noise is usually generated by heavy machineries and compressors. Vibration occurs while operating jackhammers and drilling equipment. Radiation exposure occurs in welding operations and nuclear industries. Proper workplace design and engineering controls help reduce these hazards significantly. What are the diseases caused due to heat and cold? So heat stress can produce several direct health effects including burns, heat cramps, heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So heat stroke is the most severe condition because body temperature rises rapidly and immediate medical attention is required. Heat also reduces worker concentration and increases fatigue, resulting in more workplace accidents. On the other hand, prolonged exposure to cold can cause chilblains, frostbite, hypothermia, and reduced blood circulation. Workers in refrigerated warehouses and cold climates require insulated clothing and regular warming breaks. Employers should also ensure adequate hydration and proper ventilation for workers in hot environments. Proper lighting is essential for safe working conditions. Poor illumination causes eye strain, headaches, blurred vision, and reduced work efficiency. Excessively bright light or glare can also lead to visual discomfort and fatigue. Noise is another major occupational hazard. Continuous exposure to high noise levels damage hearing mechanism. Initially, workers experience temporary hearing loss, but prolonged exposure can result in permanent deafness. Noise also affects communication, increases stress, decreases concentration, and raises accident rates. Industry should regularly monitor noise levels and provide hearing protection such as earplugs or earmuffs. So next, let us talk about the impact of vibration and radiation. Workers using the vibrating tools such as drills and pneumatic hammers may develop hand-arm vibration syndrome. This condition affects the blood vessels, nerves, muscles, and joints. Ultraviolet radiation mainly affects the welders. Without proper eye protection, ultraviolet rays causes painful inflammation of the eyes known as welder's flash or keratitis. Ionizing radiation is even more dangerous because it damages body cells and DNA. Long-term exposure increases the risk of cancer, leukemia, infertility, genetic mutations, and birth defects. Therefore, shielding, monitoring devices, and protective equipment are essential wherever radiation is present. So this table summarizes the diseases caused by different physical hazards. Heat exposure causes heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Cold exposure causes frostbite and hypothermia. Poor lighting contributes to occupational cataracts. Noise causes hearing impairment and permanent deafness. Radiation exposure increases cancer risk. Continuous vibration leads to vascular and nerve disorders. Understanding these relationships helps industries identify hazards early and implement suitable preventive measures before workers develop permanent health problems. Next, let us talk about the chemical hazards. Chemical hazards enter the human body mainly through skin contact and inhalation. Skin contact with chemicals may cause irritation, dermatitis, burns, allergic reactions, and skin ulcers. Some chemicals like aniline compounds can even pass through the skin into the bloodstream. Inhalation is the most common route of exposure. Workers inhale dust, gases, vapors, and toxic fumes during industrial operations. Examples include carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, ammonia, silica, dust, asbestos fibers, and lead fumes. Proper ventilation and respiratory protection are essential to reduce chemical exposure. Diseases caused by dust and gases. So different dust cause different occupational lung diseases. Coal dust cause anthracosis, silica dust causes silicosis, asbestos exposure cause asbestosis, and significantly increases lung cancer risk. Organic dust from cotton causes biocinosis, sugarcane dust causes bagazosis. Farm workers exposed to moldy grain develop farmer's lung. Lung diseases caused by inhalation of dust over many years. Gas exposure can also cause poisoning and respiratory damage. Exposure to heavy metals such as lead, mercury, cadmium, and arsenic causes toxic effects throughout the body. Lead affects the nervous system and blood formation. Mercury damages the brain and kidney. Long-term exposure to industrial chemicals can also cause occupational cancers affecting the lungs, bladder, and skin. Repeated skin contact with oils, acids, alkalis, and solvents results in occupational dermatitis and eczema. Workers handling chemicals should always use gloves, protective clothing, and follow proper hygienic practices. The third one, let us talk about the biological hazards. So, biological hazards are caused by microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Healthcare workers have a high risk of contracting hepatitis B, tuberculosis, HIV, and other infections through contact with blood and body fluids. Agricultural workers are exposed to diseases transmitted from animals known as zoonotic diseases. Laboratory workers and waste management personnel also face biological risks. Vaccination, personal protective equipment, hand hygiene, and proper waste disposal are the most effective preventive measures. Next one is the mechanical hazards. Mechanical hazards arise from machines, tools, and moving equipment. Rotating shafts, gears, belts, cutting blades, and conveyor systems can cause severe injuries. Common injuries include cuts, fractures, amputations, crushing injuries, and entanglement. Many mechanical accidents occur due to unsafe behavior, lack of training, or absence of machine guards. Proper machine guarding, lockout tagout procedures, operator training, and regular maintenance significantly reduce these accidents. The next one is the psychosocial hazards. Psychosocial hazards affect workers mentally and emotionally rather than physically. They result from excessive workload, long working hours, poor communication, workplace harassment, job insecurity, and poor work-life balance. These conditions reduce motivation and job satisfaction. Workers experience stress, frustration, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. Organizations should promote supportive management, teamwork, counseling services, and healthy communication to improve employee well-being. Health effects of psychosocial stress. Long-term workplace stress produces both psychological and physical health effects. Psychological effects include anxiety, depression, hostility, aggression, fatigue, absenteeism, and substance abuse. Physical effects include neck pain, back pain, headaches, hypertension, heart disease, ulcers, and premature aging. This shows that mental health is closely connected with physical health. Organizations should recognize stress early and provide counseling, workload management, and employee wellness programs. The hierarchy of control is the most effective approach for preventing occupational hazards. The first and best option is the elimination, where the hazard is completely removed. If elimination is not possible, substitution replaces the hazardous material with a safer alternative. Next are engineering controls such as ventilation systems, machine guards, and enclosed processes. Administrative controls include safety training, standard operating procedures, warning signs, job rotation, and work schedules. Finally, personal protective equipment or PPE such as helmets, gloves, respirators, safety shoes, and goggles provides the last line of defense. Industry should always prioritize higher levels of hierarchy before relying on PPE alone. Let us quickly review what we have learned. Ringing years after years of factory work indicate a physical hazard due to noise. A miner with breathing problems is suffering from a chemical hazard caused by dust. A nurse infected with hepatitis has experienced a biological hazard. A worker suffering from anxiety and insomnia is affected by psychosocial hazards. These examples demonstrate how occupational hazards vary depending on the work environment. To summarize, occupational health hazards are workplace conditions that cause diseases or health problems. We discussed the five major categories: physical, chemical, biological, mechanical, and psychosocial hazards. Each hazard affects workers differently, but all can be controlled through proper risk assessment, engineering measures, administrative controls, and personal protective equipment. Creating a safe workplace protects workers, improves productivity, reduces accidents, and contributes to sustainable industrial development. Thank you for your attention.